Closer to home, David, let's talk about the cost of living crisis. Lee Anderson has not covered himself in glory with his perhaps patronising suggestions of how to tackle the crisis.
Yes, well, Lee Anderson is the Conservative MP for Ashfield, incidentally the constituency held by GBNews presenter Gloria De Piero for 9 years until the 2019.
And he's a former Labour councillor, isn't he?
Yes. And this is one of those sort of red wall type seats and former Labour stronghold. But he's been decrying the story which is that Conservatives have been under a lot of pressure on for some time about the growth of food banks, showing that more people are falling into poverty. And he said, well, look, a lot of the reason for this is that people don't know how to cook properly. And in Ashfield, anybody who comes to use food from a food bank will be sent on a course to learn how to cook. Now, there's some truth in that. You can save a lot of money if you know how to cook using basic ingredients. But he's saying you can cook a basic meal for 30p. Well, I'm not sure the present prices you can. I mean, something like 100 out of 700 of the basic cheapo foodstuffs in supermarkets have rocketed. And there's something like 250,000 households more have now gone into food poverty. So he's been roundly branded as insulting, out of touch, disgraceful. I
think I can't cook, right? I mean, I really wish that... I mean, I think it's so important, and we don't really do what it used to be called home economics when I was at school. I don't know what it's called these days, domestic science, whatever. But we tend not to teach these things to children as much as I think we should do, because it is a very, very, especially the way we're going, a very necessary thing in life. And I think he has got a point there. I don't know how he said it, whether it came across as arrogant or whatever. But, I mean, you know, the brilliant, amazing Jack Munro, who does, you know, encourage and tell people how to survive on a very low budget and teaches people to cook. I mean, she's amazing what she does. Now, this is a very similar message, but when it comes from the left, it's treated as a good message, as indeed it is. But when it comes from a Tory, you're talking down to people, you're patronising people, you don't know what it's like to be poor. Now, I get that might be true, but he does actually work with this food bank as well. I'm not defending what he said in any way, shape or form. I think he has a point, and I think it's very important that we do... I mean, I'm talking about myself,
It's the way he said it,
It's the way he said it, Stephen, I get.
I mean, I didn't see the coverage, but the way it's portrayed that he said it...
Well, it's like George Eustace the other morning recommending that people buy non-branded tinned foods in the supermarkets, and people saying, well, thanks for that tip, George. You know, what do you know about buying... What have you bought in Lidl or Aldi recently?
And Jack Munro said that
I
himself.
totally agree. I think the message is right, and I think we saw it, didn't we, with some of the energy companies coming out with their top 10 tips, and everyone was outraged that people suggested they wore an extra jumper. It's probably good advice. It's just that it's who delivers it.
Who delivers it and how it
isn't going to solve the cost of living crisis. Prices are still going up. You can put another jumper on, but your energy bill is still going to go up.
Is there a point in all of this that you can put on another jumper, or you can, live on whatever it is, casseroles and make food stretch, but people largely don't want to? Do you think that there is a pushback in the way that we didn't post-war? Well, post-war, people really did make do and mend.
Exactly.
And we're a bit spoilt now.
We have forgotten
the suggestion's almost offensive.
And how much do we depend on... Look, I'm as guilty as charged on this.
Yeah, me too.
How much do we depend on takeaways?
Oh.
And that's so expensive.
Don't look at me like that, Stephen. I'm
sorry, I do. No, I think people probably do. See, I never get a takeaway. Never. It's just not on the agenda.
So you can cook properly?
Yeah.
See, I'm really impressed by that. I really wish I could. And I hate myself for being that lazy, but
Dawn, you're not lazy. You work incredibly hard. And a lot of people like you work all the hours. I'm not letting that happen. No, you work all the hours, and quite frankly, after a long day, the last thing you want to do is start, making some stock from a chicken carcass or whatever it might be.
A lot of people are like that, so it's a...
Are you showing some cooking knowledge?
To be fair, I was just stealing that example. I've never made stock, but we were talking about it in the newsroom this morning, and, that is one of the sort of, things that...
You a cook, David?
...pertaining to people
I married a very good cook, so I'm spoiled. Oh. And I appreciate the good cooking, and my wife likes it when I like her cooking, so we're all happy.
And you've been married 40 years this year, so, I mean, you must like it a lot.
Yeah. No, it's just... I think he makes a valid point, but just not in a very good way.
It's the way he's said it.
Saying you can do it for 30p is actually... I don't think that's feasible. I don't know how you manage that.